it's a privilege. Like we may have started the program, but you've continued it and made it something great. So I feel very inspired by what you're doing, Prabhu. And so I pray for your blessings so I can follow in your example and also get the blessings of our, great predecessors. His Holiness Mahavishnu Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakticharu Swami Maharaj. And we pray that we can get their blessings, and of course from Srila Prabhupada, that we can, continue following what they wanted us to do and to share what we gain from them, the incredible life-changing knowledge that we got from them, that we can share it with others and also practice it ourselves. So having said that, I'll just open up the screen. I plan to make it today quite simple, at the same time interactive. So I hope that today you'll be able to leave this discussion with practical ideas as well as some inspiration. So let me just share my screen again. This one here. Yeah, so I've just got the title here. I've hidden the actual 7 purposes for now. But I'd just like to ask you, and you can either, I guess, probably typing in the chat would be the best to start with, although we might get some spoken comments in a minute. How do I make this bigger? I'm not sure. Anyway. So Srila Prabhupada, when he started ISKCON back in the 60s, he formed this legal body called the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And when he did that, he wrote down what I call the 7 purposes of ISKCON. Right. So what do you think is why would Prabhupada write down these 7 purposes? What would be the benefit of these, writing down the purposes of his society? I'm interested to hear the ideas, and particularly how it would be relevant for us. Like Prabhupada might have written it down for his own reference, but what about for us? How is knowing the 7 purposes of ISKCON helpful for us? So maybe you can just type in the chat a few words. Or if you did want to speak, you can just put your hand up and then I can unmute you as well. Whatever's easier for you, which is a new experience. I haven't tried the hands up thing before, if there is such a thing. Okay. So this is before revealing what they are, but I think it's good to start off by thinking, why would Prabhupada write this and how would it help us?
I think the chat is disabled. I think the chat is disabled.
Oh, is it disabled for everyone else except for me at the moment? It might be.
Yes, I don't know. Chat could be open for all. I don't know. There is no individual chat allowing. Chat to everyone. Yeah, chat is to everyone. But let them speak if they can speak.
Yeah, you can speak. Go for it. It's more personal anyway. So
okay, chat. Hold on, I'll do it now. Everyone publicly. Now everyone can able to chat, I think.
Okay, so yeah, if anyone wants to type it in, but if you'd like to speak, it's also nice. We can hear your voice and hear your, intonation. It's a little more personal. So anybody that would like to speak, you can just unmute yourself. I'm sure there won't be too much overlapping. So everyone's come to hear rather than to speak. Huh? So who's going to be the brave one? Who's going to speak first? Anyone?
Well,
there we go. Leading by example, Prabhu. There we go.
The purpose defines the purpose for which this organization begins. Why? It answers the question why somebody wants to do it, and also answers the question what it is and how you're going to achieve it.
Okay.
Simple as this. These things are answered by this, and then everybody is coming in. They know the purpose for which they're coming in, joining in. Management by objective.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Good. Yes, that answers some of the big questions. Anyone else like to add anything?
Hare Prabhu. Sorry, my video's not on. It'll be on in about 5 minutes.
No problem.
I think one of the main reasons is also to legitimize ISKCON as well. To give it like a focus, as in, like gives direction to people. So legitimizing ISKCON. That's what I think.
Right. So it shows it's not just some kind of ad hoc personality cult or something, but has an intention behind it and a clear goal type of thing like that.
Yeah, exactly.
like that. Okay, thanks, Prabhu. Now someone I think someone just entered. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Oh, Hare Prabhu.
Very, very wonderful topic, Prabhu. Actually, I've heard about this long ago. So my common sense says that Prabhupada knew that it's going to be a huge organization, huge institution, and that's why he was setting in that ambitious set objectives. So it was for us so that we keep focused, we do what is actually right, and we don't mentally concoct things.
Mhm.
We put everything in black and white. Okay, that's why it is. That's how it is. This is what is right. This is not. If it is not there, it is not right.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, just giving us some boundaries and clarifying things. Good. Anyone else? Okay, no worries. We'll move on. I think these are great answers there. Now, for ourselves personally, you've given some nice answers here. Whoops. Spoiler alert. Just a minute. I'll just type in here what I was thinking for this presentation is one, understanding, probably should have written this in advance, but it's all right. Understanding, Srila Prabhupada's goal, we can say. And then this is the one which hasn't been mentioned yet, which I think is what I'd like you to think about. What can we do to help the mission? So, as you've spoken about, it's giving us clarity, it's giving us boundaries about what Prabhupada intended our society for. But one way I like to look at it is that it's showing different aspects of the Hare Krishna movement of ISKCON. And each of us has got unique talents and inspiration. And from these 7 purposes, we can look and see there may be one aspect of it that we're particularly attracted to that we would like to dedicate ourselves to. So it's important that we know the whole mission and how it connects together. But I think for us personally, it's interesting to look and see, which area would we like to make our contribution? So that's something I'd just like you to keep in the back of your mind as we go through this today. And the other goal that I really had today is to memorize. Now, not word by word, but I was just thinking to myself that if we're part of Prabhupada's movement, it's good if we know what Prabhupada intended. And if we can access that at any time, in general principles, not necessarily word by word, I think that it will be helpful. So as we do this, I think that it's important that we remember Krishna. But we should also go back to the ABCs. And you understand what I mean as we go on. So just with that in mind, let's scroll down and see what these purposes are. All right. So the first purpose is to systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all people in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world. So each of these purposes has got a lot of things that we could unpack, and we have like half an hour, right? So we won't dig into it too deeply here. But I thought we could just stop for a moment here and just ask for some feedback. What were some of the big ideas that came out of this particular purpose for you? What was the main idea that you kind of got from this first one? And what we'll be doing is we'll be going, through all of the 7 quickly, and then we'll be looking at a way that we can help to remember all of these 7 in the order that Prabhupada's given them. So what is the big idea that comes out to you from this particular purpose?
I'll start, Prabhu.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu, go.
To educate all people in the techniques of future life.
Okay.
That's where people, my feeling that education and understanding of philosophy, this is very important. How do you apply these things? Yeah.
Right, okay, good. So education and particularly philosophy. Nice. Anything else that stands out to anybody here?
In the first point, in the last statement, he says that to achieve real unity and peace in the world. I've read in a lot of statements that Prabhupada says that the only way for universal peace to exist is for everyone to be Krishna conscious. So I think this is about teaching people how to become Krishna conscious and how to love Krishna.
Yeah, that's nice. Because sometimes people might argue, you guys are just singing and dancing and, having fun and just like maybe you have your philosophy, but how's it really helping people in their real life? But actually, that is the secret. By connecting to Krishna, this is the way that we can actually achieve the real peace and unity and the other good things that people want in life. So so these are the main basic ideas. That we've got the education. One thing I wanted to point out here is this point about all people. I think this is really interesting, that this is not like a sectarian type of a movement, that it's only for one class of people from one particular country or one particular religion or one particular background. That's the obvious meaning of this, right? That it's not racist or whatever. But another understanding that I think is important for us to think about, having looked through all 7 of these purposes, is that it's really important that we consider everyone in all stages of life. So all people includes children, for example. It includes brahmacharis, people that are students. It includes married people. It includes retired people. So I think that's just an important consideration because, quite a lot of times we might put focus on, in different stages of life. We hear these stories that I'll take up my spiritual life seriously. When I finish school, now I have to study. Now I'm very busy with my study. And then, now I'm married and, I'm very busy with my children, raising my children. When the children grow up, then I'll become serious. And in this way, our whole life passes us by and, we miss out on the benefits. But actually, Krishna consciousness is for everyone, right from within the womb. It said that when the mother reads the Bhagavatam, the child within the womb is getting benefit. So right from that stage. And, it was just one point that I wanted to bring out in terms of education. So before we move on to the next one, I wanted to just give you the framework that I was thinking of to help us remember these purposes. So as I said, we need to remember Krishna. And what do I mean by that? Well, I was looking at this 7 purposes, and I realized that there was 7 letters. So at first I was thinking, I wonder if we can use the letters of the word ISKCON, because it's talking about ISKCON, right? So then I went ISKCO, it's only 6 letters. So I thought, this is a shame. And then I thought, but Krishna has got 7 letters. So if we can associate each of these purposes with 1 letter of Krishna, it'll help us to remember it. And in the same way, we can use the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, which is 7 letters of the alphabet, to remember it. So I spent some time figuring out how these things can be aligned. And it's not perfect, but I think it's a helpful memory aid for us. So now my question is, if this is the first purpose, what word beginning with K do you think would be useful to remind us of this purpose? So I'm not sure if you're able to chat now. You could type it in the chat, is probably the best way, rather than speaking at this stage. But if the chat's not working, then you can just, speak it out if you have some idea. What would be a good way to remember this purpose? So I'm staring at the chat.
Knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge. That certainly starts with K. I'm not sure if anyone had any other ideas. If you think that knowledge is a good one, you can just put your hand up or whatever it is. Yeah, I think that's a good way to remember it because it's about education and so on. So now what about A, B, C, D, E, F, G? If this is the first purpose, what could we remember in terms of the letter A? And I actually was going to post in here the link to the 7 purposes if you wanted to put it in another screen or something, if it's helpful for you, or just for your reference later on. So if this is for the letter A, what would be a word that starts with A that might help us remember this, this purpose? Anyone can speak up or type it in if you're able to. So interesting, huh?
Sorry, could you repeat the question again, please?
So the question is, just like when we were talking about the word Krishna, we want to take each letter of the word Krishna to remind us of the 7 purposes. So the first purpose will start with K. The second purpose will be a word that starts with R. The third purpose will be a word that starts with I. Another way that we can remember it is we can do A, B, C, D, E. So what's a word that starts with A that we could use that would help to remind us of this particular purpose? And I think there may be one word or one meaningful word in that purpose that is there that might help us. And it can be more than one word. It can, doesn't have to be exactly one word. It could be a couple of words that go together, starting with A or whatever.
Is it achieve real unity and peace?
Yeah, that could be, if that's the one that helps you remember, that could be it. There's another one that is also a possibility. And there's no right answer. Like I'm not coming and telling you that this is the right answer, because I feel it's more powerful if you think it through and come up with what works for you. It's useful. But there's another one also that could be useful. That's definitely one of them. Oh, here we go. Sarva Siddhi Devidasi has typed in a message, so it is possible. At least it's a direct message to me. I'm not sure if it's a message that can be sent to everyone, but she's put all people. So, yeah, we can think of like the way I remembered it was to educate all people. So it's kind of educates in brackets, and then all people is the thing that starts with A. So this is for all people. So whichever works better for you is the all people or the achieve, or maybe when you remember both, it's helpful. It's even more in depth. So far we've got the letter K, knowledge, and we've got the letter K from Krishna for knowledge. And then we've got the letter A, which is to educate all people or to achieve real unity and peace. All right, we're doing great. We've got the first one. Let's go on to the next one. So this is quite straightforward. To propagate a consciousness of Krishna, God, as it is revealed in the great scriptures of India, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhāgavatam. Just close the window. I can hear some. Sounds like when you're in Mayapur, they have those cinemas on the other side of Jalangi, and all that music comes across. Sounds exactly like that. So I'm just going to close it. Have noisy neighbors. So let's start this time with B. This is the second purpose, and the letter is B. What would you get from this for the letter B? There can be more than one answer here. There may be more than 2 answers. All right.
Bhagavatam.
Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So either of those would be a good answer. Any other way that you could put it? It's not exactly written there, but it may be a reminder of what it is. Yeah.
Bhagwan, Krishna, because God.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Makes sense. Cool. Yeah, I was also thinking like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. What are they?
Books.
They're books. Yeah, exactly. So we've got a lot of different ways that we can remember, and I find it's really good when we do this as an exercise, because different people come out with different angles, and when we come to remember it, we might remember these different things, and it helps to broaden our memory of the whole thing. All right. So we've got Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Bhagavan, and books. So that's the letter B. Now, when we look at the word Krishna, we're looking for the letter R. So what would be a letter of R that we could get from here? There's kind of like the obvious ones that are actually in the text, and then there's other ones we might think of.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hi, well, who's that? Pata, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, India, is it? Oh,
So we're up to the letter.
R. Okay, we are R.
We're still up to the letter R, yeah, and this is the one here, number 2.
Revealed, Prabhu.
Revealed, yes.
Revelation.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the obvious one, which is in the text here. Can anyone think of something else that might be related to the letter R that might be relevant? Shall I give you a clue? What do you do with these?
Reading.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Mataresh.
Yeah, Mayuresh, Prabhu. Remembrance.
Remember. Very nice.
Remembrance. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
For that you read them.
And you read as well. Great. So these are all fantastic answers that, these scriptures are there for us to read. And when we read them, what do? We remember Krishna, right? So these are great answers. So we're doing well so far. We've got the first 2 letters on both of our systems here. The remembering Krishna and remembering our ABCs is all going really well. So let's continue to the next one. So this one, I'll just read it out. To bring the members of the society closer together with each other and nearer to Krishna, the prime entity, thus developing the idea within the members and humanity at large that each soul is part and parcel of the quality of Godhead, Krishna. So before we just go straight into the memory aspect of it, what would you say would be the main ideas that this is coming at? Because it seems there's more than one idea that's coming out of this particular purpose. What's you can maybe just share one of the ideas that comes out for you, and the next person can share another idea.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So I
Okay.
think there are many ideas, but the last, which each soul is part and parcel of the quality of Godhead.
Right. Yes.
We are not impersonalist. We don't merge. We are all different identity.
Very good. Very good. That's a very good and interesting point. Yeah, that's a key idea. I would say that would be one key idea, and at the very beginning, there's another kind of idea also that I think might be worth mentioning. I suppose this half. So you spoke about the second half, and then in the first half, what's it? One of the ideas here.
I think this means that when you remember that every soul is a part and parcel of Krishna, then all of you become related because all of you are a part of the same entity, and that's
Right.
something that brings the members of the society together.
Right. So when we understand that we're like part of the same family, it gives a sense of unity with everybody. Nice. Okay. So let's have a look here. I'll just see which I think would be the easiest one to start with. Well, either one. So we've got our Krishna and we've got our ABCs. And at the moment, we're up to the letter C in our ABCs. And we're up to the letter I in our word of Krishna. So either one, you can tell me what stands out for you, or what connection could you make with those letters? And I think neither, you might have some that come out of this text itself, but I think it's more about the ideas that we've got here that would help us to achieve these letters. It's a little tricky, this one, I think. Ambrish, you've got that very thoughtful pose happening there. So, part, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, Prabhu, can I speak something that comes to my mind with the letter C?
Sure, sure.
Prabhu, how about connected?
I like it. Very nice. Yeah, and that it actually combines both those parts of the purpose as well, which is really nice. Yeah, I like that. Thank you. That's very good. Anyone else? So that's from the ABC side of things. That was good.
From C side, Prabhu, I would say consciousness. That's the primary consciousness. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's straight from the text as well. Yeah, good. Thank you, Prabhu. So we haven't got anything for I yet. And actually the one that I had for C was a little different too. So it's amazing how just in such a short passage you can have so many different angles and perspectives on things.
Prabhu,
Yes.
I get something with I.
Yes.
Inclusiveness.
Very nice. Yeah, very good. I didn't even think of that one. This is wonderful doing this process, because I'm going to have to add to my hidden list here the ones I came up with, and you guys are coming up with so many more new ones. That's even better. Thank you for that. Inclusiveness.
Prabhuji, for I have intimate relationship, because
Individual.
we have to. Sorry.
Yes, very good. Individual relationship, did you say?
Individual or intimate relationship with Krishna or fellow Vaishnavas.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Now, what was it? Connectedness. I said that one. I'm adding, I have my own list, but I'm adding the ones that you were giving me, so it's making a more rich list. All right, well, we're a little short on time, so I'll just add a couple of ideas that I had. And maybe not as complete as some of your ideas here, but one of the ideas that I got is that by bringing the members together, that's like to do with community. But in one sense, I quite like the idea of connected better, because it kind of includes more of the second half of the purpose as well. But it's, again, something that helps to remember it. And for I, one of the words that I thought of was identity. The first question is Kayami, who am I? Right? Rupa Goswami was saying, everyone says that I'm such a great person, I'm so intelligent, and all these things, but I don't even know who I am. And so this idea of identity is a really strong theme in this purpose. So those were just a couple of other words that I got. And I really like the words that you gave, so I've added them onto the list here. And consciousness was another one. I'll just add that. So these are all just aids. It's not like a right or wrong answer, but by thinking through this process, I'm sure you'll find that it'll be much easier for you to remember the purposes that Prabhupada's given. So let's move on to the next one. And it might be a bit easier. Let's see. So the next one is to teach and encourage the Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting of the holy name of God, as revealed in the teachings of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So just as a reminder, I'll tell you what letter we're up to. We're up to S and D. Okay. So, anybody like to go for any of these letters here?
Yeah, Hare Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I would say for D, distribute. So distributing the Sankirtan movement to the masses.
Okay, cool.
And for S, I'd also what was the word? Spread, like spreading Krishna consciousness. So basically the same sort of theme.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. You should say that. I'll come back to that a bit later on, I think. But I like those ideas. Thank you.
More politically correct left-wing answer would be to share.
Oh, share. Yes, that's right.
Spread, you know.
Yeah, spread sounds a little bit too viral, doesn't it? Yeah. It means to share safely. Right?
Two words which stood out for me for S is Sankirtan movement.
Yeah, naturally, right?
Really, yeah.
Very good.
And for D, I will stick with devotees.
Devotees, okay. Teaching encourages Sankirtan movement, okay. So, devotees, okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, please go ahead.
Okay. Prabhu, for D, S, obviously, I thought Sankirtan movement. And for D, I thought because chanting of the holy name of God is the Yug Dharma. So,
Oh, okay, Dharma. Very nice. Oh, great. It's amazing. I thought that I was so smart and I'd already figured this all out. And you're like multiplying the ideas that I had already so many times. So it's both making me humble and also making this cool, making this much, richer. So thank you. Any other ideas? Yeah, the S for Sankirtan is, quite a, an obvious one. I found the D was a bit tricky. But I came up with one idea, and my daughter also came up with an idea. Or my son, one of them. So, I'll share it with you so we can keep moving. So the D that I thought of was drum, because, the Sankirtan movement is the Brihat Mridanga, and the Mridanga is a very important part of chanting. So I thought of drum, not djembe though, just Mridanga. Just in case you're having any doubt on that. And then the other thing was when I mentioned to, I don't know if it was my daughter Danica or if it was my son Nanda, when I said what starts with D, they said dancing. Sankirtan is not just chanting, but also dancing as well. So lots of words that help us to remember that one. Cool. Okay, well, let's move on to the next one. And I'll just put the letters here again. Let's say yes, this must be H and no, E. Yes. All right. So number 5, to erect for the members and for society at large a holy place of transcendental pastimes dedicated to the personality of Krishna. So just before we get into the letters here, what do you think Prabhupada's talking about here when he says about erecting a holy place of transcendental pastimes dedicated to Krishna? Can you think of any examples in our movement where there's something like that?
I would say the most obvious one is the temple. So that sort of thing.
So like all the temples around the world, is that what you mean?
So obviously, the ones in Krishna consciousness and ISKCON, or ones that basically, propagate Krishna consciousness, that have deities and stuff. Like that.
Sure. Yeah. So basically, all the temples, and Krishna conscious projects, like New Varshan, it's a temple, but it's also like a farm. And, now there's Govardhan Hill. It's a classic example, right? And in Mayapur, we have this big, TOVP, Temple of the Vedic Planetarium. So these are, great examples of holy places dedicated to Krishna. Yeah. All right. So the letters are H and E. What do you got for me?
Holy place.
Yeah, there we go. Straight out of the text. Yeah. I think this one's quite an easy one in some ways. So that's the H. What about E? Anyone?
Erect temples.
Yeah, erect, right? Erecting the holy places. So yeah, those two words are straight out of the text. I think that one's quite an easy one in that sense for our memory. And we'll see at the end how good your memory is. So just throw that out there that we might be doing a little test in a few minutes. Right, let's move right on to the next one. So now we're up to N and F. So let's read the text. To bring the members closer together. Prabhupada said that already, didn't he? Bring the members of the society together with each other. Okay, cool. To bring the members closer together for the purpose of teaching a simpler, more natural way of life. So before we get into the letters, what do you think Prabhupada's talking about here? What kind of projects or ideas is Prabhupada talking about here?
Simple living, high thinking.
Yeah, that sounds pretty much it. And what do you mean by that? What would be an example of that sort of thing?
So obviously, when you when you're doing Krishna consciousness, or when you engage in Krishna consciousness, you have the routine that you do. You perform Mangalarti, you read Prabhupada's books, you live a relatively uncomplicated way of life. But in the same way, you're engaging your senses and your intelligence in knowing about Krishna. So it's I would say it's like a sort of detached way of living, but in the same way you're still attaching yourself to the main purpose of life. So, yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, it's interesting your answer because it's quite broad and philosophical the way you answer, which is I like that answer. Prabhu, what do you have to say?
I think it is farm communities.
Yeah.
Dependent upon nature, cows, farming.
Yeah, Prabhupada was definitely encouraging that as a way for the devotees to live together on one side, and on the other side to just avoid a lot of the complications of modern life, which is becoming more complicated every day. Yeah. Okay, that's good. I think that covers that point. So now we've got these two letters N and F. So what would letters, what words would you relate to these letters?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Natural and farm.
Yeah, that's what I thought of. It seems natural fit. Those words are straight out of the text, except for farms. But we can see that's what Prabhupada's talking about, really, isn't it? So yeah, that's cool. Does anyone have any other ideas? I was couldn't really think of anything else for that one, but you've had a lot of creative ideas until now. Prabhu, Avinash Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. You very nicely said about complicated situations, because if you read the entire text, to bring the members closer together for purpose of teaching, that's the goal. And for that, we want a simple, means less complicated, more natural way of life. So yeah, simple life. Whatever we do, don't complicate.
Yes,
What
yes.
is natural is and the thing which actually I feel is we should put the word for F, feelings.
Feelings.
Feel for devotees. We understand them. Feeling for F.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. When people live in a more natural setting and they have a better community, then they feel better. So yeah, it's an interesting point. I didn't think of that. All right, well, let's move on to the next one as our time ticks on. With a view to achieving the aforementioned purposes, to publish and distribute periodicals, magazines, books, and other writings. So I found this one was quite tricky. So what are the letters? We've got G. Oops. We've got A for Krishna and G for the ABCs. What have you got for this one? And I found this one a little bit tricky, so I'm hoping that your creativity will help me out again here. You're finding it tricky too. Phew, it's not just me.
I could give one for G.
Sure,
I'm not
yeah.
actually sure G at the moment. I was thinking garner. So you garner, a group of like-minded people by spreading, the books and the message of, ISKCON, Prabhupada. So just garnering a group of like-minded people.
Well, that's a fancy word. Yeah, that's very appropriate. Yeah, it's like garnering attention, right? As well as, sort of gathering in a way, gathering together people, but in a sort of indirect way. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Garner. That's a cool word. I'll put gather next to it. It's a similar meaning, right?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
What I understood with a view towards achieving an aforementioned purpose to publish, distribute magazines, books, and so what he's talking about, I was going to say advertising Krishna consciousness.
Nice. Yeah, very nice. I like it.
For G, you always said gathering or getting together. Yeah.
Getting together. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it was tricky, that one.
I think for the G, mainly Prabhupada are referring to here is with above purposes, we have to have published some kind of periodicals, magazine, some kind of periodicals, mentioned periodical, yeah?
Right.
Periodical or journal,
Okay, so we can spell journal with the G and then it would work, right?
Yeah, gazette. more journal would mean gazette also.
A gazette. Brilliant. Yeah, that's cool.
Or we can have a referred meaning of this. Journal.
Yeah, a gazette. Or we could just journal. It's not a word, but just for fun. Okay.
When we ask our guru, everyone's guru, the global guru,
That's
Google,
cool, isn't it?
The Google, they say gazette.
Yeah. Google, yeah, these days it would be Google, right? But people can find it on Google. I love that one. Because when you said guru, I was thinking of, the one-eyed guru of the West.
Advertising.
Which is TV, But now Google is the guru, so that's great. I love it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, what's coming into my mind from A is academics.
A for academics, okay. So like publishing is to do with academics, right?
Yeah, and G for giving, give.
Cool. Yeah, I like that as well. That's a really good idea. That's what it's about, isn't it? Like we're giving the books and we're giving the writings out to people, giving the knowledge through writing and through publications. Well, that's fantastic. So we've gone through these 7 purposes. And so what I'll do now is I'll share the list that we came up with. Might need to update a little bit. And let's make it a little bit bigger here. So we can all see it. I'll give you a few seconds to, cram it. And then we'll do a little test. I'll just see if I can I'll get rid of that at the top there. I think we can see it. Is it too small to see that? I'm not sure what kind of size screen you guys are Prabhu's, and hopefully it's readable. Maybe we can make it a tiny bit bigger. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's about as big as I can get it. I can get rid of this as well. That helps us look at it a bit better. And there's a few ideas that you had. I'll see if I can remember them. Box bio, yeah. Earlier on, Krishna, that's probably you were talking about, what was it? Spreading? Where's S? KRS. And I was thinking that the last one was the one that's really kind of focusing on the spreading part of it. I think that the S one or the D one, the one about Sankirtan, sort of more about the chanting side of it, and then the last one is more about the spreading. Although obviously there's overlapping, but that was just the thought that came to my mind. Yeah,
that's right.
But these are different ideas here. All right, so now how are we going to do this? How are we going to remember this? Maybe it looks like people can chat now. So if I just hide the this screen for a second, then we can see as we go purpose by purpose what you can remember. Okay, so are you ready? Try to be a little quick. Okay, here we go. I'm hiding it now. All right, so the first purpose, just in 1 or 2 words. It can be just the one word that helps you remember it. Type it into the chat and let's see what you can remember. And we'll have a look and see what we get. What was the gist of the first purpose? Okay, great. Prata is on the ball. He's got it up there. Oh, and then Divyanshi has got it up too. Oh, using both the letters. Hope you're not referring to notes there. Hope it's from your memory. I'm sure it's, solidly linked in there now. Cool. All right. Well, we'll just keep moving because the time's kind of up. Let's go for the second one. And if anyone else wants to, start typing it in, I'll just read out what's put. So Prabhu put to spread systematic knowledge, and Divyangshi also added to achieve peace. So that's the first purpose, to systematically propagate spiritual knowledge. I'll just quickly pull it up here. Oh, I have to just, I know, we'll do it one by one so that there's no cheating going on here. To systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all peoples in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world. Okay, the next one. So Avinash Prabhu, you've put books. Okay, great. So I'll just go down and we'll see that, yes, you are correct. It's all about Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, to propagate a consciousness of Krishna, God, as revealed in the great scriptures of India, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And we read these books. So that's the way, remembrance, there we go, perfect. Remembrance and reading is the R from Krishna. All right, let's go to the next one, which is the letter, we must be up to the letter C and the letter I. And, oh, see what the next one is. Okay, so Krishnadas has put identity, Prabhu has put inclusiveness and connected, identity of being part and parcel of Krishna, and this is very good. That's what it basically says. To bring the members of the society together with each other and nearer to Krishna, the prime entity, thus developing the idea within the members and humanity at large that each soul is part and parcel of the quality of Godhead Krishna. So the next one, which would be the letter D and the letter S. Okay, here we go. Sankirtan, drums or dancing, spread the Sankirtan movement, chanting the holy names. Fantastic. This is correct. We're on the right track here for sure. To teach and encourage the Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting of the holy name of God as revealed in the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All right, and to distribute, yes. Sankirtan movement is all about sharing and distributing. All right, so the next one, this will be the letter H and the letter E, if you need help to remember. All right, so Prabhu has got erect a holy place, and that's basically what it's all about. Oops. So to erect for the members and for society at large a holy place of transcendental pastimes dedicated to the personality of Krishna. Great, to erect holy places and temples. Great, and then we've got 7, so we've still got 2 to go. So the next one will be the letters N and F. N and F. So here it's about encouraging a simpler and more natural life. Yes, correct. Very good. Natural way of living. And what about the F? What was the F all about? Do anybody want to remember? Farm. Perfect. So there we go. To bring the members closer together for the purpose of teaching a simpler, more natural way of life. Fantastic. And then finally, the last one. Oh, and then feelings. Avinash Prabhu. People feel much better when they live in the country. It's emotional well-being also. And then the last one. Okay, there's a little pause. Gazette. Yeah. Publishing books, magazines, and gazettes to give, or academics. Yeah. So let's see what Prabhupada's written here. With a view towards achieving the aforementioned purposes, to publish and distribute periodicals, books, and other writings. So now we've got more devotees. We've got academics and garnering attention, gathering and gathering. Yeah, fantastic. So you have now got a good memory of these 7 purposes of ISKCON created by Prabhupada. And now my final question for today is, out of these different purposes, which are the ones that you feel the most inspired by? And, naturally it's not a limit. You don't have to limit yourself to any, but is there any particular area or sort of inspiration that you feel out of all of these things? Like you might really want to distribute books or write books, or maybe you really love to do kirtan. Maybe you're interested in creating a spiritual Disneyland, a spiritual project devoted to Krishna, or maybe you want to systematically educate. You want to become a teacher, something like that. Or maybe you just love to read the books and teach about the books, whatever. Or developing community and so on. Maybe you like to debate with Mayavadis and teach them the real understanding of our identity with Krishna. Just like our Arjuna Prabhu in our community here in Auckland, he likes to have debates with the atheists and try to convince them that about Krishna and our relationship with him.
Well, we are preaching, so that's propagating is a very straightforward thing for us,
Yes, so you feel that the first purpose is really the kind of focus that you have.
First is a more vision sort of thing. It starts narrows down in the first and the second,
Right. Okay. Anybody else? Do you have any sort of particular attraction to any of these?
Very well. I quite like the second point because it's it gives it quite straight that everything that we should be learning about, that we should be propagating, has to be very much in line with the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, without any of our own mental concoctions or whims and fancies. So that's kind of something that I was quite inspired by. Yeah.
Right, that it's an authorized knowledge and you like to share that with others and understand it and so on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. My personal realization is that it simplified my life, got my life very simple, coming to Krishna consciousness because of teachings of Srila Prabhupada and understanding this knowledge. So I would like to focus on to check the imbalance of values in life, which is real unity. I don't know about the word, but that's what probably understanding the books, like Amrishu said, preaching, and this is a very complicated life out there. So that's what I do.
Right. So you're inspired to help people to change their values so they can have a better quality of life, much simpler and more satisfying life. Yeah, very nice. Anybody else?
Krishna, one point that stands out for me, other than what has already been discussed, is the third point. I like bringing people closer to Krishna and developing a better relationship with them, with Krishna in the center, so that we can connect better and they can be happy. So
yeah, that's a great point. It's like Krishna Prabhu was talking about how the Bhagavatam has got this absolute knowledge. We can tell people that, look, these are the facts that from the authority, and some people, they get very inspired to hear that. Oh, okay, this is truth from ancient times. Whereas other people, more simple-minded, you just become friends with them and, say, have some prasadam, come to this nice party we're having, do some chanting, and, you just become friends with people. That also brings people to Krishna consciousness. So there's so many different ways that you can attract people to Krishna consciousness. And I really like what you're talking about bringing people closer to Krishna and, developing those relationships, building the community. It's really interesting that I noted in here that Prabhupada has mentioned about to bring the members of the society together, and then to bring the members of to bring the members closer together. He's, and even these other ones, to erect for the members and for society at large. He's like talking about community in a lot of ways. So it's a very important factor. Nice. Anyone else?
Prabhuji, I like the second point because it establishes the authority of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. I also like the fourth one because it talks about Sankirtan movement and chanting of the holy names and the authority of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I mean, that's the Yuga Dharma, this chanting. So, yeah, also the thing is that, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, like people have heard of Krishna, but Lord Chaitanya, no one's heard of. He's a hidden incarnation. So the Sankirtan movement is revealing Lord Chaitanya, which is a great gift to people. Even in India, no one has heard of Lord Chaitanya. He's like a, secret incarnation. Yeah. All right. It looks like the time is more or less up. Amrish Prabhu, would you have any words you'd like to add to kind of conclude here or anything like that?
No, it's your thing. Very nicely done presentation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I just hope that it's helped devotees to just think a little bit about, Prabhupada's vision for our society, and I hope that devotees have some inspiration to, help Prabhupada's mission, whether it's to try to achieve all the 7 or if there's, just one that's really inspiring to, do something in that area to help expand the movement and the, Prabhupada's mission. And now you have a way to remember it.
Thank you very much. That's the whole idea for me to inviting guests, and for you.
Yeah.
So different angles we can see, from each devotee is inspired with different things,
Yes.
Wonderful.
So what I can do is this document, not that document, this document has got the different ways of remembering. So I'll share that as well.
Yes.
I'll just put it into the chat. And so if you can just click on it quickly, then you'll be able to, just a minute, I have to make sure that everyone can open it. Anyone on the internet can view, that's correct. Okay, copy link, here we go. So if anyone would like to get a copy of that, you could print it or save it to a hard drive or whatever, then it can be a reminder of these points that we came up with together. I thought that I was so smart that I came up with a few of these things, but you expanded it so much that I've had to put more and more ideas into it. So thank you for participating. I really appreciate your help in developing this. So Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, anything relating to Krishna is always complete. And you can see in the purposes that Srila Prabhupada has documented also, everything is complete. So the process by itself, when, there is nothing missing in it, like you have prasadam, you have association, you have chanting, Sankirtan, Bhagavatam, reading, everything, all your different types of needs, kind of so-called, are satisfied. And even in the purposes, you can see that. So I just feel that that gives you the ability to understand how Srila Prabhupada was such a great personality. And so when I read all of them, I was struggling to say that this is important or that is important. I felt, well, everything just seems so perfect. And and thank you for your class. I myself and Krishna Sabha and Krishna Prabhu were talking, because you were his teacher. So we remember, he remembers as a young child as well that Krsnendu Prabhu used to always find innovative ways of teaching us. So I can see that that's still happening, whether it's a class also. So thank you for your class, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it's nice to hear from you again. It reminds me of the good times back in those days and the good times now.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, you can see Prabhupada was so broad-minded that these purposes, they cover so many things. So whatever you're inspired to do, there's always an opportunity to do it and serve Prabhupada's mission.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
We have one motto in our program, which is Krishna. Give Krishna a chance, And from our side, we try that all the participants, even if they are new, we train them to become leaders in their own way, in whatever way they can, and help promote Srila Prabhupada and spread Srila Prabhupada's message to the wider audience. So that's very nice. 7 purposes of ISKCON, which you have covered today. This would help all of us, those who are old and those who are new and young, in their quest for becoming Krishna conscious and be of some service to Srila Prabhupada. So once again, Prabhu, thank you very much. On behalf of all the devotees, we would like to thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Very well.
Very well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Now, if you can, Prabhuji, stop sharing here and we can.
Oh, yes, of course.
Thank you.
And I'll let you continue with the next part of your program, and I'll go and have my dinner.
Thank you,
Prasadam.
Prabhuji. You can participate
Krishna.
if you want to. You're more than welcome,
Okay.
So, no problem.
Thank you.
Now, just very quickly, thank you. So for the devotees who are joining us on YouTube, there'll be a slight break for a few seconds where we discontinuing this link and giving the, So Krishnadas, if you can sing the Jai Radha Madhava, I'll give the new link to devotees there. Thank you.
Okay. Hare. Once again, thank you, Krsnendu Prabhu, for his very nice class. So now we'll do Jai Radha Madhava. If everyone could please repeat after me with your mics muted, that'd be very wonderful. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari